It's almost time for the BC Slots group poll. $200 each. I don't know what game we're playing. I'll let you know. Kyle is so excited he can't contain himself. Keep it down. You're gonna scare everyone with that. He's not excited. He doesn't care at all.
Valerie, Kyle Travel Channel.
Should you do a group poll? What is a group poll? Is it a scam? What even happens? I'm going to go over that here because I feel like this is a really contentious subject depending on where you look. I saw some really awesome comments about it. I also saw some that were really horrible. So I figured I wanted to try one, so we did it. And I'll tell you how our experience was. And then I'll go into what is a group poll? Is it even for you? Here we go. So AI loves to tell me what's going on. It says group polls involve a group of people collectively betting on a single slot machine. Perfect. That's what it is. That's essentially what you're doing. It's a group which typically has a single organizer, and then everybody puts in $20, $50, $100, $5,000, whatever. Everyone puts in the same amount. You do higher denom bets than you normally would on your own. So if you have $200 and you could do maybe 75-cent bets. Now with all the people collectively, you can do $17 bets or even higher than that. Normally, like I said, there is a single organizer, and that's important because if you hit a jackpot, 1,200 or more, there is a tax liability. So without someone specifically saying, hey, if we hit a jackpot, I will give them my social, I will pay the taxes out of it. Without that being established beforehand, I would never do a group poll because I don't want to be involved in any tax liability. I don't know how big the jackpot's going to be. I don't want to have to divide it up after. That seems crazy. So that's usually something that I look for that's already established is who is organizing this group poll. People say, I stay away from them because usually there's a profit motive on the person organizing it, where you can see group polls a lot of times. You'll see them on cruise ships. We go cruising a lot. And if you have a single person say, hey, you want to do a group poll? Everybody put in $20 and they put their card in the machine. They're getting the points. Depending on if you really pay attention to point accrual, that could be a big deal to you that someone else is getting points from your $200. If you just want to have a fun experience and you know the group of people, maybe not that big of a deal. If you're not a gambler and then this is a way for you just to have a nice fun group experience with not a lot put into it, $20 or so, it could be a good time. You might not even care about the points. I think the point thing, depending on the level of play, depending on what you could get from accruing the points, obviously it could be a big deal to some people. I don't necessarily subscribe to the organizer is always out to get something from the group, always out for some sort of motive on their own. I don't really know about that. I also would never do a group poll with someone I didn't know or someone who doesn't professionally organize these on a regular basis. I'll tell you what I mean by that here in a second. Let's keep looking at some of the other reviews I found. This one I thought was really interesting. I know that it is from 8 years ago, but I guarantee it's still happening now. Random person posts, hey, I'm going to be in town. Anybody want to meet up? And just do a group poll for $100 a person. 1, I don't know this person. 2, why would I want to meet up with a random group of people? Although some people said, yeah, sure, I'd love to. I'll be there too. That's wild to me. That is not something I would ever do, which is why we did a BC Slots group poll. I'll explain how we did that and everything and why I trusted that over other group polls. Yeah, there were multiple people that said, sure, no problem. Like I said, this was 8 years ago, so maybe things have changed, but you still see on Facebook, on cruise specific Facebook groups, people will say, hey, does anyone want to meet up? And then you'll find out, hey, if someone posts that, do not Venmo them money. Do not give them money. It's a scam. That happens to people every single day. And I've seen multiple posts on Facebook from different cruise specific ones because usually I'll join whatever cruise we're going on. I'll join the Facebook group just to see what other people are saying about their excursions, things like that. I have seen posts where people say, oh no, this is a scam and I sent them money. Or the Facebook group organizer will say, do not send this person money, and it already happened. They've already scammed people out of money. So it's very hard to trust a group pull unless you know the person, unless you know exactly who you're giving money to, and you don't give the money to them until you're in front of the slot machine and you have someone who's accepted responsibility for any sort of winnings. There are very specific things that I would have to have in play before I would join another group pull. I've done 2. So we did the BC Slots one. I'll show you that here in a second. And then we also did a small group one with about 10 other people. It was a group that we were with the entire weekend. That was at our slot tournament. So it was just a small group pull. I'll link to the slot tournament at the end so you can see how we got that set up. We knew everyone and it was $20 a person. So the amount that we could lose was very small. The BC Slots one, we did $200 a person. We could lose a little more. The possibility of 30 people putting in $200 a piece and not having one line hit, I don't know the probability of that. It's probably very low. All right, BC Slots. We're going to do a group pull today, and he's already here. I just creeped on him, but I'm about to creep again. It was so easy to sign up for the group pull through the BC Slots website. All I did was went on there, checked the dates that he was doing group pulls. I put in my email so it could let me know when tickets went on sale. It was $10 per person to reserve a spot, and you get that $10 back in free play at the plaza when you actually do the group pull. From there, we got a QR code, we got tickets via email, and we just gave them our names, showed our tickets when we got there. It was so easy. Everything is already set up and spelled out. Like I said, he professionally organizes these. This is the only type of group pull I would honestly trust. So when we got there, we did have to get there 30 minutes early. And I think they say that obviously like other places, other venues, just to make sure that people don't roll in when it's supposed to start. They had a table set up, so everybody lined up. And they wrote down our names, and then that actually was your position in line. So they said the only thing you have to remember is the person in front of you. Remember their name or their shirt, what they're wearing, so that when you see them at the machine, you can be ready to go. I thought that was super easy. Kyle ended up being right behind me, so that was like the easiest thing for him. And then that way they don't have to stop it. They don't have to say, okay, you're next, you're next. It's very smooth. It was a very smooth process. I was actually really impressed. That's one of the things I was very curious about is like, how do they determine the order? How does all of this go? How is it set up? And I'm nosy. And I love logistics. It's always logistics talk at our house. So we went through. It was very smooth. It took about an hour to get everybody from start to finish when it was supposed to start. Then it took about an hour to go through all the spins. I ended up getting a single bonus on one of my spins and a double bonus on the other one, which was so exciting. And then poor Kyle had to follow me and didn't get any bonuses on his spins. And I'm in my head, I'm like, I had such a good time, probably because I had bonuses. But if I didn't get any, would I have had that good of a time? I don't know. I'll try another one, I'm sure, because I know he's setting it up. I know the process. I felt that this was something that I could trust. And then with the points, right, like I talked about before, do I care that BC Slots got points for my $200? No, I don't care. I don't know that he is really like, oh, I need everybody's points. I need these points. He gambles enough on his own that his points are through the roof, I'm sure. And he has a whole room at the plaza. So is he like, oh, I need to get people here so that I can get their points? I doubt that even crosses his mind. I did see negative reviews of him on Reddit and different things when I was looking. People, were saying that they would stay really far away. He's one that I would actually trust to do a group pull. Like I said before, I know he organizes it. I know he everything is spelled out and so detailed that I don't have to worry about what could happen in specific situations. It's all spelled out. It's very easy.
Valerie from Colorado, and I want to say hi to my brother Jeff.
Hi, Jeff. All right, let's line it up. All the way from Colorado. Find that quickest. We need 6 or more now. We hit the 5 already. We can do better. We can do better. Extra square! Come on. 84. 3 more spins.
So after the group poll was over, then what they do is they tally up, because you only get 10 spins, right? So 30 people, 10 spins each. They have a counter. They don't go over the amount of spins that we all put in. And then whatever money is left over at the end is divided. So it's not like you play until you lose all the money. No, it's a X amount of spins. That's how much you play. We ended up putting in 200 each, and we cashed out at $155 each. So everybody lost $45 a person doing $20 bets. That's 2 spins on my own that I would have lost the money on. So for me, it wasn't that big of a deal. I knew going in that if I lost $200, if no one won anything, I would have been fine. It's part of my bankroll. It's what I have set aside. It was an experience I wanted to do. If in my head, I thought, oh my gosh, I would be so sick if I lost $200, I wouldn't do it. I would only do what I'm comfortable with. There was a 200 and a 500 option. Part of me was like, oh, we should do the 500. But then in my head, I'm like, no, not for my first one. I'm going to go small, and then I'll decide from there. So I've watched a bunch of his group polls. I really have seen, people have gone home with like half of what they put in. I haven't really seen ever one where it was like, oh, that's really bad. It's certainly possible. Anything is possible. I've seen group polls of his hit like tens of thousands, and then everybody doubles their money. So you really never know. That's why it's slots, it's gambling, it's entertainment. That's what this was for me. It was entertaining. I had a great time. At the end, he just stood over by his area, BC did, Brian Christopher, and said, okay, everybody, whoever wants pictures, come over. He was so nice. It was really, really cool. Something very different and fun that I would never do outside of a situation like this where it's very organized. The one thing that I wasn't expecting, and this is outside of gambling, I had a tank top, then I had a BC Slots shirt that says Rude on it because Kyle got that for me as a gift a couple years ago. It was so hot. It was so hot. My face in the picture with him, I'm like bright red. And it's a small room with a lot of people. It was very hot by the end. I just had to like take off my extra t-shirt. So I had a great time. I would never pick this slot on my own. So I got to do something totally different, totally outside of what I would normally play. I would do it again just to see like, oh, what other slot are we going to play? What else is going on? If 200 is the most I can lose and I have a really fun time, cool. I hope this helps you understand what a group poll is, who does them, and if it's right for you. It might not be, or it could be something you're interested in. There is no harm either way as long as you do the research, you trust the person organizing it, and very specific details are established way ahead of time. Don't send anyone money before the group poll. Do not send anyone a penny if they say, hey, I'll organize it, just send me the money ahead of time. No, absolutely not. No one is getting a penny until I know exactly who's setting it up, until I can trust the organization of it, and we are standing in front of the machine and I am fully comfortable. So that's my biggest piece of advice. If you're not comfortable, don't do it. And never send anyone money if they ever ask you for it and you don't know the person. Like cruise ships. If you don't know them, don't give them money before you go on the cruise to do a group poll on the cruise. Never. I guess that's my biggest piece of advice. Don't give anyone money ever for anything. That's how I live my life. As always, thank you so much for watching. We'll see you on the next trip.
Goodbye, everybody, goodbye.